Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to Sir Ibrahim. Before I go further into this video presentation, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Nur Najrohani binti Amir Hamza. I hope that everyone doing fine in this pandemic COVID-19. So for the introduction, I will be the one who conduct, and we're choosing PAWS Animal Welfare Society for this assignment, which is Sustainable Development. So I would like to introduce my members. We have 6 members in this group. We are from group 6. So the first member is Azan Azira binti Taib. Second, Nur Najahani binti Amir Hamza, that's me. And Fatih Nur Hamiza. We also have Muhammad Zakwan, Aiman Fikri, and also Muhammad Zul Fikri Azamuddin. The content for our video presentation will be introduction. We have background of PAWS Malaysia. We're also going to talk about the activities of PAWS Malaysia, and we're going to talk about issues or problems, initiative of PAWS Malaysia, and last but not least, the conclusion. As for introduction, I will explain more into the sustainable development and what is PAWS Animal Welfare Society. What is sustainable development? According to Brundtland, sustainable development can be defined as the development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the needs of the future generations to meet their own needs. Yes, humanity has the capability to make growth sustainable in order to ensure that it meets the needs of the present without undermining the future generation ability to serve their own needs. Well, it does imply limits in the concept of sustainable development. However, the limitation on natural capital impose the existing state of technology and social organization, and by the biosphere capacity to observe the impact of human resources. In this new era, the economic growth can make it ways in improving by managing the technology and social organization. However, in the end, sustainable development is not a fixed state of harmony, but rather a process of transition in which the exploitation of capital, the cost of investment, the focus of technical development, and structural change are made in line with both future and current needs. Others might not know what is PAWS Animal Welfare Society, so I'll be explaining a little bit about PAWS. So PAWS is known as a reputable national non-profit organization, which is NGO, made up of a network of dedicated, caring, and trustworthy individuals and organizations that initiate and direct the promotion of animal welfare and the conservation of all animals. So PAWS will help the cats and dog and wild animals go home and thrive, whether the word home is the family room or the forest. So the purpose of PAWS is actually by rehabilitating orphaned and injured wildlife, sheltering and adopting homeless cats and dogs, and educate the community to inspire compassionate action for animals. In Malaysia, we also have PAWS that is located in Petaling Jaya, which has been operated since 1987. PAWS Malaysia will receive the surrender of unwanted dogs and cats, which they will vaccine, deworm, neuter, or spray, and put out for adoption. So currently they have more than 250 cats and 250 dogs under the care of shelter. So PAWS Malaysia consists 3 office staff, a number of part-time veterinarians, 1 assistant, and 7 kennel workers. So PAWS has been registered under the society under the Registry of Society of Malaysia that is led by an elected committee. So that's all for me. I'll pass it to Zakwan.
Thank you, Najwani. I am Muhammad Zakwan Mohammed. We will continue with next slide. which is the background of PAWS that involve mission, vision, mission, and objective. The first one is the mission of PAWS. The mission of PAWS is to aim to improve the life of the companion of the animal and to assist in humanly managing the population of dogs and cats that is overpopulation through education and sterilization. PAWS goals is to prevent or eliminate any cruelty done to any animals, whether it's through ignorance, neglect, and deliberate cruelty itself. Next one is the vision of PAWS. That is the all animal will and can be treated with kindness and compassion. Next one is that the objective of PAWS is to shelter and care for the unwanted and abandoned stray cat and dogs. We will continue with the next point, which is the values of PAWS. The value of PAWS, there is 9 values for PAWS, which is the first one is the respect, which respect for every life, whether it's human or animal or plant. Next one is the community. The community is mean that the organization or the people that committing to help the homeless pet, such as volunteers, their employees, donor, and others. Next one is the innovation. The innovation value help them to constantly improve to find the best way to practice or to search out new ideas in order for them to save more life of the animals. Next one is they also through innovation they also help to evolve and grow as a learning center which teach the new generation or the current generation about the importance of the animal shelter itself. Next one, next values is about transparency. Transparency help them to inform about the public what does the importance that in animal shelter help, and it's allowed the public to access about the truthful statistic about the likelihood of animal surviving private and public shelter. Next values is the proactivity. Proactivity help them to solve difficult problem and to be prepared to offer emergency and crisis support to the animal that need help. Next one is the education values. Education values help to raise awareness about the realities of the homeless pet that facing by the community across the nation, that providing a forum where they could involve and affect the changes that this animal shelter is making currently, and also to promote and support the responsibility of the pet ownership by helping them to know their pet better. Next one is the sustainability. Sustainability help them through the financial management that practice that maximize the impact of enrich of our resource, and to ensure PAWS that there will be always a source or a resource for them in order to sustain, to give, to provide shelter to those animals. Last one is the compassion, which is means that giving out compassion and empathy with the whether it's animal or human.
My name is Aiman Fikri bin Muhammad Arif Fazila, and before that, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. For my part, I will explain to you about the activities of PAWS. The first PAWS Animal Welfare Society activities is adopting animals. They open the business of adopting the animals that they have been taking care of. Everyone who has interest to adopt animals can visit them anytime during of their operational day. All animals in PAWS have been given vaccines, so the people who want to adopt the animal in PAWS don't have to worry about it. The people who want to adopt animal will go through the interview before adopting animal because they want to make sure that the people is suitable enough to take care of the animals. And they must also donate based on type of animal they want to adopt. For your information, the people can booking or reserve the animal at PAWS. So if the people want to adopt it, they must immediately go through the interview and take care of the people that they want. The second PAWS activities is surrender. PAWS will accept the unwanted animals or stray animals such as puppies, adult dogs, kittens, and adult cats. For your information, the owner of the animals can reclaim the animals because their pet will get medical check, feed, and rehome if they can give it at that time. Due to space, staff, and financial constraints, they can guarantee that all surrender pets that they receive will be housed with them. It can be avoided since there are a lot of surrender that outnumber the adoption to there a lot of animals. The third PAWS activities is PAWS sponsor a pet program. This program helps those who want to adopt the pet but can't afford it. So the sponsor that join the program can provide financial assistance for the animals that house at PAWS until the animals get a new home. The sponsorship fees will be used to buy animal food and medicine, provide for neutering and cover the other expenses that need to use a lot of money. The fees of PAWS sponsor a pet program will be give a lot of benefit to the animal because the animals will get assistance from the money that PAWS get, like general environment at the animal shelter can be improved by the using the fees that PAWS get from the program. And the last activities of PAWS is volunteer. PAWS welcome the people who want to spend their time with the animals and they can choose the work that they enjoy. If the volunteer didn't have specific activities that they want to try, they will assign the volunteer to the activities such as cleaning the shelter and also spending the time with the animals. The minimal supervision and guidance will be given to the volunteer before the volunteer activity start. So the volunteer need to work independently without making any trouble. The people who want to volunteer at PAWS can come to the PAWS at Monday until Sunday except Wednesday or public holiday. They can come to 10 a.m. to 4 a.m. Before come to the PAWS, they need to fill in the online volunteer form before starting the volunteering work at PAWS. The form is unacceptable if the form is not complete or full, so they must make sure the form that they fill is complete.
Okay, thank you for giving me a space to talk about this issue. But before we go further in my session, I would like introduce myself first. So my name is Azana Zira binti Taib, like I mentioned earlier. My session is talking about the issues and problem of PAWS Malaysia. So let's moving on to my point. Animal body damage and abnormal behavior that can be arise in sterile condition and do not provide enough stimulation of welfare problems. For body damage issue, they are very easy to correct in some situations, especially. Meanwhile, for abnormal behavior, it can also avoid it by offering small handful of straw, of toys, or to animals. Like, as we know, the previous issue in Malaysia has happened about the turtle. Okay, let's straight to the point. About the first point is talking about the issues of movement restriction. It has shown that animals have a strong incentive for for freedom of movement based on the many research studies I have been, because this consensus of the recent studies that suggest the lack of rugged feet allow animals to follow a more natural feeding pattern cause the greater animal discomfort. So this is especially an issue for breeder of chicken broiler and so who need to be kept and calorie restricted diet to prevent them from being too fat to breed. So moving on to the second point is about the absence of feed foraging. Okay. This point is absent of rugged feed and absent of foraging behavior involving the mouth has been shown to be greater in a regular activity than restriction of movement. So it can be shown at the previous previous case that I can be given in National Zoo lack of food for animal, especially for example, National Zoo or Zoo Negara is facing several financial crises following the third wave of this pandemic 19. So in the country which is saw the implementation of CMCO with the emergency fund only able to about more than 3 months. So Director of Zoology, Veterinary and Giant Panda Zoo National Conservation Center, which is Datuk Dr. Mat Naim Ramli said, the closure of CMCO follow up the operation caused this revenue is be to decline or to be decreased. That is, it is difficult to cover operating costs of an average cover around 1 million per month. The third point is talking about the people who are not interested in taking the animal to be kept in their home or house. I don't even know why these issues can be happen. Maybe they think this issue give them more commit to take care of this animal, but let's go moving on to this issue is maybe this is because the genetic effect, which mean the significant genetic factor. So in the barren environment, the quiet passive strain of animal are less likely to develop abnormal behavior, especially. Over the selection for FARS benefit has led to issue with the behavior. The feather packing issues can be decreased by the genetic selection of chicken, cat, or rabbit, or hamster, or dog, and etc. They need to be big trim. The chicken, cat, rabbit, or etc. can be removed by opting for strain that have less need to be picked. So moving on to the fourth point is talking about the less donation to take care for the take those animals to the clinic, veterinary clinic. Meaning to say that about this, almost every day, PAWS will definitely receive a cat or dog or even a cute puppy for the left by the public to take care of. Once they receive up to 20 to 30 cats or puppy a day. By now, they also have lost almost 200 up to 300 more cats or a few dogs for their good if they want to know. So they also treat the stray animal and give them shelter, food, nutrition food to this animal grow healthily. So PAWS seeing this issue of the discarded animal increasingly critical when the trap neuter release measure is not practiced by our society especially. So in order to sustain this effort and provide the goodness and shelter to these little animals or cute animals, PAWS appeal to help the public, whether those who keep cats or do not keep cats, but please the love animal because they also deserve to live.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So my name is Muhammad Zulfikri Azamuddin Kosmadi. Today I'm going to present the initiative of PAWS Malaysia. Okay, the first initiative is rehome. The rehome is the concept of giving protection and finding the new owner for the animals. PAWS accept the unwanted pets and stray animals such as puppies, adult dogs, kittens, and also adult cats. The animals will be placed at the safety and shelter place where the PAWS will give the medical treatment. The function from the rehome provide of the unwanted pets and also stray animal, helping them to have the utilities such as food, shelter, and medicine, so that this animal could be adapted to his or her new owner. So relating to the PAWS, the service of rehome also have the unwanted pets and stray animals to have the new home or being adapting to the new owner of the animal after being recovered and giving the treatment by the PAWS. The service is not only help the animals in having the suitable place for them, but it also help the people who want to find the pet to keep the pet at their home. Okay, next. Animal shelter. The animal shelter care for animals needing protection. Attempt to find home for homeless animal and reunite lost pets with their owners. Okay, some shelters provide other service such as animal health service, behavioral evaluation training, and also human education. The uncontrolled breeding and irresponsible pet owners have resulted in a serious pet overpopulation problem, and drastic measures are needed to curb the ever-increased number of these stray homeless dogs and also cats. So shelters are necessary to deal with the pet overpopulation. And although they do not treat or stop the problem of the unwanted pets, they do help to decrease and spread of the disease as well as the risk of injuries such as bites or scratch of the animals living in the age of survival. Okay, so many things need to be done at the animal shelter. Obviously, caring for the animal is very important. The facilities at the PAWS are suitable and also can afford to put the animals at the usual condition for the purpose of animal shelter. The workforce and finance of the PAWS also in the good condition to support and give treatment for the animals.
Next initiative of PAWS, which is the fundraising program and awareness about the importance of animal shelter in Malaysia. As we know, the current situation in Malaysia about the spreading COVID virus and the suppression that the government have been taken to restricting the the citizen movement through the movement control order. The current situation is bring many disadvantage to many organization in Malaysia. PAWS is one of the organization that is affected by it, which they need to find a new initiative in order for them to gain resource and money in order to sustain themselves. As such, there is a few collaboration that PAWS have done in order to for them to find their own resource or their own supply of food in order for them to continue to provide shelter to the animal. The first example of collaboration is between PAWS and Shurency Studio, which is the program is about the art for paw, which is the program work as a platform to fundraise for PAWS in order for them to sustain their organization, and also work as a program to raise the awareness of the public about the importance of animal shelter in Malaysia. The merchandise that Shurency Studio will sell is their own design merchandise to raise the fund for PAWS. There are many choices that they could make, which is there is usually normal set that being sold. There is contain one total bag, one notebook, one normal pin, and free stickers. Other than that, single item could be sold, which is each single item in the normal set will be sold separately, and there is also customized set, which is the buyer could choose and customize their own set. Lastly, there will be also their own design merchandise, and also they will make digital artwork commission where you gonna give your pet picture and they will digital and make art from it, then we'll send it back to you with a price of 20 ringgit Malaysia. The second one is for the program collaboration between PAWS and Pet Space. This program is called as Paw Your Helpful Love. The program was held in order for PAWS to get a supply of food for the animal in the shelter, which for every purchase that PAWS that the Pet Space managed to sold, each purchase will give 1 kg of pet food to a PAWS, which enable them to feed their animals at their animal shelter. There also a bag that being sold, which is the merchandise. Thus, it is important for PAWS to find more initiative and strategy to find another resource of income in order for them to sustain themselves while keeping the animals at the animal shelter, so that they will continue to sustain and become as one of the organization that is continue to provide their service to the homeless pet. That's all from me. Thank you.
As the conclusion, PAWS aim to provide awareness to the entire community in Malaysia on the importance for helping, loving and maintaining a peaceful life for all types of animals, whether domestic, pet, wild or endangered. We hope that society is sensitive to the responsibility and duties as human beings. This is to ensure the life of more civilized animals in this country. In Malaysia, wildlife education is introduced to students at the age of 10. Clearly, wildlife is a very valuable natural resource for a country. Thus, continuous knowledge and exposure about wildlife, especially in this country, should be nurtured from childhood and continue to adulthood. Thank you. That's all.